Market update here on the 7th. So, big move higher here pre-market. Let's see how this goes. Again, the number one scenario I have is more than likely we're going to see chopping up over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then probably see one more drop into September. So I think that we're just in the middle of that chop right now. Yesterday, it looked at the end of the day like it was going to go down and it was going to be another sell-off. But now we're coming back up. And let's just see here. The two potentials I see, more than likely this is not going to be a 5-wave move. So I think that going straight to new highs is very unlikely. I think the second most likely possibility is coming down here for the 5th wave, but that doesn't look possible anymore. So we pretty much narrowed it down to one possibility here, based on what I'm seeing here pre-market. And that one possibility is that weekly demand was hit. That was the A wave. Get rid of all these. And we're looking for a B wave retrace here. So this took about 20 days. So I'm looking for this to take about 20 days as well. So I would say probably going all the way a little bit past OPEX, maybe to August 22nd, would be about the time I would expect this to take. So I think you're probably looking at something maybe like overall, maybe something like this. And as far as targets go, I could see it coming up here to at least 537. We're at 528 right now. Potentially all the way up here to this area here, 541 to 547. So if this takes all the way till the 22nd minimum, that would mean we would have, let's see, 22 days, or no, 20 days down. I'd be looking at somewhere in mid-September as a bottom. Then again, B waves don't necessarily have to be, they can be a lot longer too. This could be a lot of chop and higher over the next 20 or so days. Let's look at the option chain though. So option chain is actually very, very bearish short term, which is interesting because we're up so big pre-market. There's a chance they just messed up here. Usually the market follows this option flow though. So we'll see how this goes over the next 2 or 3 days. But right now, pre-market is looking pretty good. So look for a chop in movement up until about the 22nd through OPEX. And then I'm expecting more downward movement probably sometime in late August or early September. And it'll probably last until the end of September. So I do think that this is a 4th wave. And let's go over QQQ now. So this is back up towards the high of the day yesterday. Again, same structure, same thoughts on it. Probably not going to go straight to new highs. Probably not coming down here and making a new low. So that leaves one possibility, a B wave retrace, which should go to a minimum of 463. So it's got another 4% higher to go. This one lasted a little bit longer too, July 10th, August 5th. So that, I think I did the calculations wrong on the SPY, by the way. This is 26 days. That takes us to the end of August. So potentially something. And look at this too. You can look at the standard deviations too. Let's just say we do go to 463. That's the minimum target. Let's just get an idea of how low this could go. So I would say a chance of going to 384. The 1.61 fib is at 375. Or we just get some kind of smaller C wave down here. You can see that there is, I think, a pretty big demand zone here. Let me look at this. There might even be a weekly demand. And let's use moving averages as well. So if it were to break below 420, then on the weekly, it's headed all the way down here to the 200. Maybe at that point, a little bit higher than that. Maybe it won't get all the way there. This would be pretty bearish overall, though. Let's go to the daily and look at that. And this would break every moving average on the daily. So that would be very bearish. Let's see how it goes. I guess I'm not going to completely rule out the possibility of this is going straight to new highs. But on smaller time frames, it does look like it is going to retrace for a B wave and not be a 5-wave move to new highs. So this is a structure I'm looking for. But then again, you look at this on the daily, it is so far below the standard deviation. This B wave could go much farther. It could go all the way up here to this gap fill at 480. So I guess I won't rule out the possibility of just going straight to new highs and this being it as well. But I think that we can probably rule out going to new lows anytime soon. Let's go over Apple. Apple is interesting because it hit my target for the fourth wave already. It actually nailed it. Had this down here at 196 for a long time. And so it might be ready to go to new highs. That's interesting because a lot of these stocks have already hit my targets. That's one reason why I'm not going to rule out these going straight to new highs, although I think there's going to be more pain. This already hit my target, so again, I'm looking for a diagonal here, like this. So we'll see how it goes. Is it going to go lower, or is that going to be the bottom? It looks like that might have been the bottom for Apple. That was a pretty big drop. That was about a 20% drop. And we'll see if this ends up being correct. We end up getting a diagonal to finish off the cycle for Apple. For Bitcoin miners, I'll look at Mara. I already have it drawn up here. I think that this is probably going to go lower. It did come close to the bottom of this parallel line, but I think it's following the same structure as this. So A, B, C. That would take it down to 10 or 11 bucks, probably in like late September or early October. But then after that, I would look for like 45 to 60 bucks, something like that, and Bitcoin going to 100K. Nvidia invalidated any kind of 5-wave move lower. It's higher today. It's probably in just a retracement. I'm looking for a B wave up here. Maybe it gets all the way up here to 120, and then another move down. I think that Nvidia might already be finished, and some of the other stocks maybe aren't finished. We'll find out here soon enough. This looks like a completed 5-wave move, but it could surprise me and go to new highs as well. So don't rule out the possibility of this going to new highs. If it's already finished, we're looking for a B-wave retrace and then move down. Amazon, very, very bearish. One of the most bearish of all of the tech stocks. You can see here it's below every moving average. The 200s here at 169. I'm looking for a fourth wave to potentially hit 169. And you know, it's really hard to sit here and say that these are going to melt up a bunch and then Amazon's just going to stay below this. But if I'm looking at just regular technical analysis and for a 5-wave move, this is like your textbook 5-wave move. Like this should retrace to maybe 170 and then make another 5th wave down. If not, just invalidation. Invalidation's at 177. Pretty standard move here for a 5-wave move. Very bearish on Amazon. The VIX already hit the 1 hour. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, hit the 1 hour right here. But it is already down here at 22 pre-market. So it hit the 1 hour bounce and now it's going lower. This is daily demand here. I would watch out being long in the market if we hit this area because of how far it's dropped. Obviously, that was one of the bigger moves. I would look for something like this. And then it can just, you know, fizzle out like it normally does and take forever. So it can just go, you know, like that forever and then. So right now, though, you're probably going to get a retrace and then you're going to get, after the retrace and a drop in the market, then you'll just get your standard, you know, back and forth for probably the next 6 to 12 months, in my opinion. Tesla, you can watch the video I put out yesterday about this potentially being in a triangle. So I see this as either a triangle. Is this a regular? Hold on. Okay, so log chart. So again, is this a triangle or is it going to go to new highs? Those are the two possibilities. This is the bearish possibility. This would take it down probably to, you know, 150, 160. And then you'd get your big move higher. Or are we going to get this right away? And then from there, there could be a diagonal to the upside. It could be like that. Or the bearish from there is going to be like that. So based on the overall market and what I think it's going to do, I would actually lean towards the triangle hitting. So retrace here. And it's doing pretty much what I talked about in the video. Yesterday I had a little bit of scare at the end of the day. I mean after hours. But the minimum target here is 205.69. I think it's probably going to at least 212. Invalidation for a 5-wave move is here at 214.56. So invalidation for the 5-wave move, but I'm probably looking at, I have it listed as A or 1. This was a second wave probably at this point. We're probably looking at a third wave here or a B wave. I'm sorry, C wave. So 3 or C higher, and then we'll see how it goes from there. I think that this is probably going to retrace to at least unless it's a fourth wave, it's got to retrace to at least 222, which means it's probably come up here to daily supply 226 to 235. But like I showed you in the SPY and QQQ video, it's probably going to be very slow. And this is where a lot of people do dumb stuff. They start buying puts. They start just doing a lot of dumb stuff because they're impatient. And that's what B waves do to people. It makes you impatient. You start doing things that you wouldn't normally do because you're trying to guess at some point. You got to let the move play out. Like I said, this is going to take a while, I think. So July 11th, August 5th, the same as QQQ. So that means we're probably looking at late August. Probably looking all the way up here minimum before this can drop. And if it's a 5-wave move, then obviously it's just going to keep on going up. But I'm thinking, I've seen enough on the 920 puts on Tesla. Let's go over it real quick. Let's go over historical. Let's just do this month. So 920, look how many puts. I guess 8, 9 as well. Those are probably already closed out though. Those probably got closed out on that drop yesterday. So you have this 920, 165 put. You have a later call, 210 call. So that's pretty bullish. So again, probably headed up, but there's a chance it drops. We'll see what happens when you get up in this area as far as option flow goes. Right now, let's see where the 1.61 fib is. It's pretty much right around there. Maybe it won't get to the 1.61 fib. If we get up here to 226 to 235, let's just see if this makes any sense. It does. Let's see where that's at time frame wise. That would be, yeah, late September. So this kind of makes a lot of sense. 231 would be the target based on the length of this. So 231 and then straight down here to 154. And then that would complete the overall E wave, and then we could take off. So watch out for that, but that will probably be weeks from now, I would guess. And you're probably just going to be melting up over the next, couple of weeks. Let's go over the 10-year yield. Overall pattern I'm looking for still is this being in a 5-wave move here. It's possible that this can go back up here and then we see the drop. But I'm looking for something around 2 or 3% for the bottom. And then after that, if we get a crash, then we're going to go straight up, and the 10-year yield will probably be at 6 or 7%. And that's going to be where you see growth stocks like getting absolutely pummeled, and value stocks are going to be the play. If any stocks to play, it'd be value stocks. So I think that growth stocks still have another move higher based on this. But you can also see the 10-year yield is getting over sold as well. So you might still have another move higher before we see a drop. The weekly is getting oversold as well. So we'll see if I'm right. I think this is probably coming down here at least to the 200 on the weekly sometime soon. Probably over the next like 6 months or so. What else we got here? AMD really not trading that well, but that bounce from 123. I think that's the start of a retrace. I said in the last video, 151 minimum. So I am looking for this to at least probably do something like this. Let's see where the 0.5 fib is. Because if this comes up higher, it probably finished the 5 waves. You might be looking at 167 on AMD. So maybe something like this. Like that. And if it ends up being a 5-wave move, then it could be going to new highs. It's kind of a weird formation. Still don't know exactly what it is. It could be a diagonal. It could just retrace and then go lower. We will find out. Let's look at Boeing. I haven't looked at Boeing in a while. So I don't know if you remember, I made a video probably about a month ago. I was in Boeing. I sold around 192 because I've had this setup charted for a long time. And I've said for a while that this is going to hit this box right here and then sell off. And that's exactly what happened. And it's just been a massacre, which is exactly what I expected because this was supposed to be a second wave. So we had the A, COVID crash. Then we have W, X, Y. So I'm looking for that C wave down. And yeah, it's not very pretty. But I think that Boeing is not going to be bullish for a long time. It's hard for me to sit here and just say this is going to go straight down to 60 bucks, which is what the chart is actually showing. So there might be some other kind of like corrective move that plays out here, but I won't touch it now. It retraced enough for me. It got to basically 200. I'm out. Not touching this stock for a long time. Trying to decide if there's a way that this could be going higher. Is it possible that this is a really funky A, B, C move like that? Yeah, I guess. But still, either way, it's like, do I really want to touch this stock? It can go up here to 200 one more time, but it's still going to be bearish. A corrective move here. Still be bearish. Maybe even comes up here higher to like 210. Even then, in my opinion, that is a second wave. So I don't know what's going to cause it, but I think that Boeing is probably going much lower. Palantir got a big move higher from earnings. Yeah, I mean, Palantir, I don't have that much of an opinion on it. It basically hit my target of 31 bucks. So yeah, it can come up here again to 31 bucks, but really, I think this needs to retrace more despite their earnings. We'll see. It might come up here and hit 31 to 35 bucks next year. But yeah, I'm not really like huge on buying this right now. So Palantir, bullish, but nothing really I want to touch right now. Let's look at Meta. Pretty sure Meta just made a fourth wave. I think I touched on this in the last video. That was a fourth wave right here. It's possible that it goes lower than that, though. It's possible that... Let me look at this on smaller time frames. Now, that looks like a finishing touches. It's at 501 right now, all the way from 450. I sold my puts down here. I need to chart this one more. I have too many lines on here, too much stuff going on. I lost count after I sold everything. I stopped looking at it, so I need to recount this one. I'll talk about it in the next video. I can't really give any suggestions on that one. What else we got? IWM, Microsoft, Enphase. I have some of this. I actually sold. I sold right here too. On this move, I sold some, and then I rebought around 105, 106. It dropped all the way to 96 during the crash. Added some more around 103. Whatever this is right here, we're just in a big, some kind of triangle B wave. So A, B, C, maybe D, and then maybe E, and then maybe take off. So I'm not really worried about this stock. It's already fallen enough. I'll just keep on averaging into it. And I think eventually it's going all the way up here to 180 or 200 bucks before we see the next move down. So this is a pretty good stock to get into, in my opinion. IWM. Obviously, epic fall from the top. Probably going to go lower, but let's zoom out here on the weekly. So yeah, I don't really like the way this is set up, but you know what this might be, which would be pretty epic, and I have it labeled here, 1 of 5. You know what this might be? This is pretty interesting now, because I was wondering, this whole setup right here, all of this setup was not bullish. Not bullish. And everyone was saying it's going to go to 260. It's going to go to 270. I was like, no, maybe 220, maybe 230. But that's only going to be a corrective move. We need to get that C wave down. So what I think is probably going to happen here is something like this. And then that's going to end up being second wave of an extension. We're going to need the yields to come down. We're going to need the dollar to drop. But I think that's either going to be, so it's either top tier, and this is the A wave down, and then we'd see a retrace and then a bigger move down like that. Or this is going to be the second wave of an extension. So you got your bearish, you got your bullish. Either way, I'm bearish short term. Let's go to the daily and just look at this. So we hit the top here, and we get a big move down. We're going to label this wave 1. So just like QQQ and just like SPY, we're looking for that retrace. And we're looking for a minimum of 212.70. Anywhere from 212.70 all the way up to 221. And I'll give you a area of where I think this could bottom at. So 177. Let's just say we go to 216. So 186. Yeah, this could potentially be going down to like 150, 160. I know that's pretty bearish, but 150, 160. And that would mean we would still have a chance to make the move higher after that, as long as yields come down and the dollar falls. So, again, the whole structure is ABC. This took from November 2021 to recently. What was the top at? It was at July 31st, 24. So that's almost 3 years. So this might take longer than expected, but we'll see. It could be a quick 5-way move down here in the next couple of months as well, because they start cutting rates, then this will probably take off. So rate cut, we go up higher once this 5-way move is done. So watching IWM is going to be very important. Probably give us an idea of when the Fed is going to cut rates. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I've gone over a lot in this video. Maybe one more GME. It's at 21.28. Told you in one of the videos in the past that this is probably going to go. Well, I had it retracing higher than that. I said 35. It went to 30. And then I said it was going to fall. And I said there's a chance it comes all the way down here to $6. So you can see here, I'm not bullish at all on any of the growth stocks anytime soon. I think that they're going to fall a lot. You can see the SoFi video. I said that 550 gap fill is coming. And I think that a lot of these stocks are going to get absolutely pummeled. So watching IWM is going to be very important over the next 3 or 4 weeks, probably next 2 to 3 weeks, because once it hits 212, it's a short all the way, and it's a short on any of the growth stocks, in my opinion. I'm going to leave it at that. This is a very long video. Got a lot into this one. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and let me know if there's any stocks that you're looking at or anything you want me to chart, and I'll catch you in the next video.